on? Is it on? Hello, hello, hello there. This is part two of why you won't make it and how to actually make it. The reason why I had to make a part two to this is because this next part is very important. Matter of fact, it may be even more important than what I talked about in the previous video. And if you have not seen the previous video, please go back and watch that. That video is very important to watch as well. Okay? And even if you need to watch it first for context, go back and watch it and come back to this video. It will be also at the end of this video on the end display screen. Now, why you won't make it and how to make it, part two. My name, for those of you who do not know and are not my loyal followers, super fans, is Peyton 3.0, the EDM and drum step vocalist Zombie Supreme. Okay? Now, this can really pertain to any kind of business and not just if you're a rapper like this guy in the picture who's desperate. He don't know how to make no damn money. He done lost his damn mind. And look, I know that sounds harsh, but guess what? The world we live in is harsh. If you're not making a substantial amount of money a year, killing it, especially as a man, if that's what you are watching this, it's gritty out there, right? It's a real bitch out there. I'm coming to you candid today. There are many sides of me, and this is the side that people don't really get to see or hear. Well, here it is, because this is some truth bomb. This series is called The Truth Is, and this is like the second episode. So anyway, many of you who will not make it because you do not have the mental fortitude to stay in the game and make it and make the shifts you need to make and gain the skills that you need to gain in order to make it. Okay? I'm gonna say it again. It's not good enough just to have talent. And for those of you who don't have talent, it's not just good enough to go ahead and rap on a beat, right? To go ahead and go buy a tractor audio mixing board for EDM DJs and just throw a couple of loops and whatever together. It's not good enough. You're gonna need more than that. So I already talked about that in my previous video, so go watch that. But right now, focus on this. Focus on this. So, many of you are probably out there crying that you want to get a record deal, like you need somebody. You need somebody there. You need an organization to help you out, to work for, to financially support you and put money into your project, whatever. You need to be signed to an organization because most of you out there have always been, cradled. You've worked for employers And that's where your mind is. You know, you work for the McDonald's. You work for maybe the tech companies if you're lucky. You work for somebody at the hotel. I don't know, CVS, the grocery store down the street, somewhere, a clothing store, a jewelry store. You work for somebody, and that's what your mindset is used to, and that's what you're comfortable with. And not that you're comfortable with it. It's a how should I say? It is a familiar comfort. It's like it's what you know. You don't know anything else. Anything else is even more scarier. So even though you don't like to be sitting and working for a job that doesn't fulfill you and you hate, right? We all have to do that. Is familiar with what you know. It's what gets you through with the grittiness of your teeth, right? But to actually go out there and learn how to really and truly do it for yourself, to go out there and do and gain all the things, all the skills that you'll need to gain in order to go out there and actually do it yourself. You see, artists, people, most of y'all don't want to do that. Y'all don't want to carry the burden of having to learn email marketing. You don't want to carry the burden of having to learn how to run how to run those ads. Right? You don't want to have to carry the burden of being the promoter, the manager, the boss. Even though some of you might want to act like you're the boss, you ain't no boss. You gotta pay the cost to be the boss, baby. Okay, the cost is heavy. Yes, the cost is mighty heavy. So being the boss ain't just about a puffed up chest and telling people what to do or just owning something. There's a lot of upkeeps and things you need to be able to do and leadership skills you need to have, whether you're leading yourself or a team of people that's possibly working for you, right? But most of y'all don't want to pay the cost to be the boss because it takes so much. And let me tell you the truth, you want to have to also work your 9-to-5 job. Wow, you're going to have to work like 16 hours a day. Some of you 20 if you're really about that life. I work about 16 hours a day. I think maybe a little bit over that. 5 days a week. No, sorry. About 5-6 days a week, 16 hours a day between my 9-to-5 job and this music business that I am slowly building. These systems that I put into place, these automated systems that take some of the workload off of me. Yet still the workload is still pretty hefty even with that. Mainly due to my 9-to-5 job, basically. Right? You want to have to go through days and months and even and some more years where you're taking this approach to, to go ahead and not make any money doing this. You're going to be an employee working for free in your own business because it's a different approach when you have to go build something and find the right people, not just anybody out there that wants to listen to your music, buy your products, buy your merchandise, whatever else you can brainstorm to come with, whatever else you can brainstorm to come up with to sell to people in order to make some revenue. Write down in the comments if any of you even know what revenue even means. Because if you don't, you got some work to do to make some revenue, let alone to get to that stage. The first stage you're going to be in is research and development, right? if you decide to take the boss route to quote unquote make it. And that goes for any business. Whether you try to start a YouTube channel, trying to be a blogger, whatever, still applies. Um, Being in that first stage of business, doing it yourself, trying to be independent, it's the roughest stage to get out of. It's like a rocket. Basically, rocket uses most of the energy just trying to get off the ground. That's what starting a new business is. You won't have to keep throwing as much money and fuel. Oh yes, I said money. First of all, you gotta learn how to manage your money before you can start doing any of this. Because if you can't, and a lot of your bad habits are taking you over, you want to end up on the streets like Mr. I don't know. I'm gonna just call this man Willie, like Mr. Willie over here, talking about we'll rap for food. We'll rap for food, please. Okay, that's not how you make money. That's not how you make this shit work. That's not how you do it. This man right here in the picture, he's down bad. He's at the bottom, honey. He don't know how to work this capitalist system. He don't know how to keep learning how to play this game that we all have to play. Right? And so there are those of you who want this record deal, want this label, you want all the things that you see your favorite people in the media getting all these deals, and these could be big companies to make deals with to help you. But here's the thing. When it comes to our musicians anyway, without a following, most labels ain't looking for you. If you ain't got a good solid following and it's popping and it's engagement, they're not peeping for you. So you're not going to get that deal anyway. The old days are gone. Dead, buried. They're not trying to make investments in just artists who have potential or who have great music. Most labels ain't trying to do that anymore. And that's a rarity if they do. But for the most part, you got to come with it. Just like when you try to want to perform at your favorite music venue. Or even a club, the club, you gotta have for all those places to perform at live. If it's not a little dive bar or coffee shop, you gotta come with some numbers. You gotta come with some people. You gotta show them evidence that you can bring heads in the house, so they can buy drinks, so that business can make money, because that's a business that you're trying to perform at. Everything's about business and money, revenue, profits. That's the type of world we live in, and that's the type of world we have always lived in. So we have to take off the rose-colored glasses and look at the world the way it really is. We have to take off the rose-colored glasses once again and look at the world the way it really is. Look at what we're actually dealing with and how we're going to overcome our situation to get to where we're trying to go. Okay? That's what it's going to take. Or you could be like Willie over here on the ground with a sign talking about we'll rap for food. Is that the kind of life that you want? You trying to do this YouTube thing. Gotta know what it takes. This is not a walk in the park, folks. It's rough out there in these streets. These internet streets, the real streets, capitalism is rough. You got to build a stronger mental mindset. Forget what your parents told you. Forget how the internet raised you. It's all fucking filth. You got to get tougher. You got to be broken. You got to be broken in by the world. You got to get dirty out there. You got to be shaken up, traumatized for most of you, because you're not going to get with Sabrina guy because she got the money, the resources, and she's got the fair skin that people like. You're not gonna get with Tommy down the street guy because his circumstances are different than yours. You're not gonna get signed to that label. You're not gonna be a Charlie. You're not gonna be a Charlie D'Amelio. You're not gonna get it. So you really need to gain some skill. And you can cry that you don't want to do all this by yourself, but if you really want this, I'm gonna wrap it up for you. I'm gonna wrap it up for you, I promise. If you really want to do this, and you're still waiting around for somebody to come and see your stuff online, a record label, so they can sign you and change your whole life, and it's been days and years and months, then I'm afraid, my friend, that you're sadly delusional. And you're just gonna end up in a life of hurt and sorrow and pain, like Mr. Willie over here in this photo you see. Talking about real sing for food, real rap for money. It's not good enough. It's never going to be good enough. It's not even close to good enough. The game is always changing. Industries are changing. You gotta be focused on more than just the talent or what you think you got. You gotta be focused on the business. You gotta be paying attention to some of the top dogs and learn and educate yourself. Because school has failed you. I'm sorry to tell you, for most of us in the United States and other developing countries, school has failed you. And now we got this great resource called online, where a lot of these people out here with knowledge are just giving this stuff away for free. You need to be taking advantage of. You need to be taking advantage of that. The first thing you need to do is actually learn how to manage your money effectively. Whatever you got, whether it's $2, $10, $200, whatever, learn how to manage that little bit of money, because it's going to take you a long way. It certainly has taken me a long way. And at this point in my life, I am never a broke bitch. Ever. Because of that. Because I put my time, energy, and effort in to learning how to handle the little bit of money that I do make right now. So that when I do start making some real revenue and some profits and things, when the money starts rolling in, I already have the mental brain training, the muscle up here to know how to manage that money. Not to mention taxes, right? So you're going to have to become your own boss. But like I said, in order to really even do that, you really have to love what it is that you're trying to do. See, the fakers and the whatever and the clout chasers and all them, they're not gonna do that because they're not really in love with this shit. You gotta eat, sleep, breathe the music. You gotta be in the arts. You gotta be in it. You gotta be in love with it so much. This is what you really wanted your whole life. That you'll go ahead and learn how to email market. That you'll go ahead and learn how to run those digital ads. That you'll go ahead and learn that about financial literacy. You'll go ahead and you will actually do it. Right? So this is just a wake up call and a reality check. Part two. Most of you out there, you know, you will not make it. You won't. It's a reality, it's the truth. Most of you out there will not make it. So you might as well just quit now. Most of you out there right now watching, you will not make it. Some of you will actually, maybe more than some of you, will end up like Mr. Willie over here on the floor talking about little rap of food. Because your mentality will be so broken down because you never had a great mental foundation. You never been broken in early enough in your life. See, I've been broken in. I've been mangled around, thrown around, kicked around, spit on, all of that. And I come out. I cried. I went. I was a wuss for a lot of years. Then that all changed when I decided that I had enough. That all changed when I decided that I had enough, and that I was going to let this world, this universe, excuse me, beat me down like that. I wasn't going to let it happen no more. I started getting older and I started getting more fed up. And instead of just getting angry, because anger doesn't do anything for you, it just makes things worse. I had to learn how to play this game and what I could do, but still do it being motherfucking me. A gay, black, fabulous queen, bitch, and king, in these gritty streets of money, capitalism, all that. Music industry, yes. So, anyway, you're going to have to learn some real skills and run this yourself. Because if you don't get yourself a following, anyway, ain't nobody going to come looking for you to sign you to no labels. Anyway. Okay, if you don't get your YouTube up and stay consistent and whatnot and gain those following, ain't no brand deals coming to look for you. You might get one or two that may peep your way, and it's going to be a rarity occasion. But if you're not willing to put in the work and learn the skills and constantly be learning more than you're actually doing, learning more than it's about, I don't know, 80% learning and 10% doing. And that's a real fact. 80% of the 80% of the results come from 20% of the efforts, right? Of actually doing. Most of the time, you need to be learning and tweaking and putting things into action afterwards as you continue to learn. That's the real formula. If you're not doing that, you're just banging your head on a brick wall doing the same thing, you won't keep getting the same poor results, and eventually your whole mentality will break down as the years go on. You get older, and you're going to end up like old Mr. Willie over here talking about we'll rap for food. These are the grim realities of the human animal kingdom that we live in. And it's not going to change. It's not going to become fairy tale. And the less money that you make, the harder it's going to become in this savage world that we live in. So I don't care what kind of bubble you grew up in and what kind of neighborhood you grew up in. If they were too soft with you, you never had to deal with any of the real problems of the world. You don't have the resources either. Your parents, neighborhood you live in. If you don't have any of that going for you, Like I said, you're not going to make it because you don't have what it takes. You just don't have it. You just don't have it to really go truly hard in the paint. There's a lot of posers out there possibly watching. You don't really want a music career. You don't really want it. You don't really want a YouTube career. It sounds sexy, but having an entertainment career in these fields is not even close to being sexy. It only gets sexy after the work has been put in and you've been able to jump in the levels that you're trying to go to make it happen. And like I told you, the game is changing, so you have to learn how to play the game a different way. Because if what you're doing is not working for you and it's been you going for months and months and months, and you're losing all this money, you need to sit down with yourself or somebody who is actually killing it. That you, if you don't know nobody, sit down with yourself and have a conversation to say, we need to change something. We need to switch something up. We need to learn some other skills, or else just call it a day, call it a life, and I don't know, do something else. But anyway, I gotta go. I got other things to do. I'm running this whole music business and this whole business thing myself, honey, with a few robots in place. But this has been Peyton 3.0, the EDM and drum step vocalist Zombie Supreme. I really hope that you will give what I've said here some real thought, because if not, well, you're in for a world of more hurt and pain and desperation and depression. This is me signing off. For those of you who qualify or are actually of the EDM community, okay? EDM community, you live, you sleep, you're a raver, you have to go to concerts, neon lights, rainbow. These social medias are for you, cause that's my actual main brand. But for those of you who are not, this doesn't apply unless you want to hear me sing some songs, cause bitch, I got a voice on me. Called sessionslive.com/Peyton3662. That is where I actually go and sing songs live on a platform just for people who, just for musicians. Live streaming platform for musicians, and you guys can come on, get a screen name, sign up, get an avatar. It's that easy, that quick, and you can go ahead and request me to sing your favorite song. But that's it for this video. Check out part 1, and I will see you on the next video. Bye-bye.